We are thrilled that you can join us as we kick off the second annual Honoring the Indigenous Spirit Awards. Stan Wesley Indishinakasian. My name is Stan Wesley. I will be your host, your ganigatach, for this beautiful, beautiful event. We are coming to you live from the incredible, the beautiful, the historic Native Child and Family Services of Toronto. Yeah, I know, we all want to be together in person, but we'll wait another year, okay? Until we can come back together in person soon. Behind me, you're going to see the Longhouse. The Anishinaabe Gaming People's House was inspired by a teaching lodge situated in Curve Lake. Clad in cedar, this beautiful structure pays homage to a number of influences and is a cultural heart of this agency. And now, with all of our events, like we've done since the beginning of time, we are about to sing, to give thanks, and to pray. Tashanka Sugar, the Bezdegush singers. Tashanka Sugar is a father, brother, and uncle from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and Piapot, Saskatchewan. He is 26 years old and has a passion for many things like family, friends, music, and food. Oh my goodness, food. However, his true passion lies within his wonderful community work. As a Lakota and Cree man, he finds great pride in upholding and sharing his cultural knowledge and wisdom. Tashanka is here with his longtime brothers who formed the group, the Bezdegush Singers. Take it away, the Bezdegush. Who, if I was a powwow MC, I'd be going hookah right about now. The best de goosh, me gwetch. Wasn't that awesome? Now, it's my pleasure to take you inside the Longhouse and present to you Miss Constance Simmons. Constance Simmons is a knowledge keeper. She's a ceremonial woman who carries the teachings of the Sacred Bundle, the Medicine Wheel teachings, as well as the 13 Moon Lodge. Constance is an elder in residence at the University of Toronto Faculty of Law. Elder Simmons is Cree Métis Knowledge Keeper Treaty 6, Northern Saskatchewan, and a pipe carrier with over 40 years experience providing addictions, mental health, and trauma counseling into the Longhouse. Over to you, Constance.
Tanse sego, ani bozu, mayo kisika. A warm welcome to you all. Thank you on this beautiful day that you've taken the time to come together. I am Constance Simmons, and I am here to do an opening prayer for you. And today, on this special day, on this fire, we place our children right in the center. And we say those prayers for our children. So I'm taking this tobacco. And I am standing up before all of creation, and I am singing, Wanka tonka tonka shela, piada maya yela, away away, away away, away away, away oh hey, away oh hey, hey oh. O Gitsi Manatu, no toi no. Waniwachi elo ate o makiayo. I'm standing before all of creation to give thanks for this day, giving thanks that our grandfather's son continues to bring light and warmth to the world. And in that lies our great hope that each day is a new beginning. And giving thanks to Nokomis, our grandmother, the moon, that she continues in all her phases on her path around the world, that she controls the tides, that she is woman's medicine, that she is the regulator of all water, that sacred water that sustains all life, that sacred water that brings our children to us and the women who carry that water, that sacred water that is our tears. And when we shed those tears, we bring ourselves back into the balance of our medicine wheels. Giving thanks, too, for the ancestors of this land, remembering with the sound of the heartbeat of the drum, we lift up our ancestors and say before the ancestors, we uphold your prayers. We are here today because of how you walked and what you did. We're standing on your shoulders, and in the upholding of your prayers, we place our children in the center of our fire, and we praise them, and we pray for them, for their journey, that in each day that they would find a new beginning, another chance, another opportunity, that in each day they would strive to walk forward in a good way. And giving thanks, too, to our Mother, the Earth, for the bounty she provides for us. And when we think of that bounty, we remember the time when our ancestors walked the land, when the water was clean and pure, when we had relationship to the animals, when we called them by name, when we laid down tobacco and sang our songs in the language, when they sacrificed their lives for us. And today we are here. We want to honor these children, these students who have excelled in what they were doing and shown their excellence. We want to praise them and honor them because they are realizing the potency of the medicine that they carry, that was passed on to them by the ancestors. And for the dignitaries who are present today to show that honor, We give thanks for them. And for our drummers who bring the heartbeat of the ancestors, that heartbeat of Mother Earth in, we give thanks for them. We ask the ancestors to walk with our children, to guide their footsteps, to visit them in their dreams, for the grandmothers to entice them to their fire, and regale them with songs and teachings of our languages and our culture. I stand before you as a grandmother, as a kukum, with a heart full of love and a heart full of pride for our children. I say, matakwiash, all my relations, hi. Today I drink this water on behalf of the children and the women who carry the water that bring our children to us. Aho, miigwech.
Miigwech Constance, you're probably wondering the kind of energy we have in here. Is it just me here? Absolutely not. There's a bunch of people behind the scenes. Let's hear it, guys. Come on, let's show some energy. Very well done. Now to say a few words, we welcome Dr. Jeffrey Schiffer. Dr. Schiffer is currently the executive director here at the incredible Native Child and Family Services of Toronto and is a member of the board of directors of the Child Welfare League of Canada, the Association of Native Child and Family Services Agencies of Ontario, and the Toronto Aboriginal Support Services Council. Dr. Schiffer has Métis and German ancestry and was born and raised in Vancouver, British Columbia, unceded Coast Salish territory. He holds a BA in anthropology from the University of British Columbia and an MA and PhD in anthropology and education from Columbia University. Dr. Schiffer!
Thank you, Stan. It's going to be hard for me to replicate that energy, but I'm going to do my very best. So I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the second inaugural Indigenous Spirit Awards. As Stan said, we wish we could all be doing this in person. We wish we could be together in circle. I hope it doesn't take another year for that to happen. Despite the challenges that keep us separated physically, despite the barriers that many of us are facing in the community right now, we still see youth breaking barriers and succeeding on a daily basis around us. And that's really what this is about. I think when we receive the nominations for this award, we are filled up with hope, with excitement, with humility, and with joy for the things that our youths are standing up and achieving on a daily basis. And so I think I just wanted to thank everybody who came together to make this happen, not only at Native Child, but community partners in the community and everyone that helps the Indigenous Spirit Fund do what it needs to do. It is a new fund. But a lot of people have been supporting this fund through giving. As Ken, I'm sure, will tell you, a lot of philanthropic dollars still are not going to the Indigenous community. And for the price of a coffee or a cupcake or a Tesla, you can support the Indigenous Spirit Fund to do good things with community and with our youth. Let's make it a Tesla, right? That would be good. Today is really not about raising money for the Indigenous Spirit Fund. Today is not about honoring our donors. Today is about celebrating a very important group of youth who we are bestowing with this award. And so I do want to refocus us on that. And today is also about, I think in some ways, honoring the work of our founder, Ken Richard, who not only founded Native Child and Family Services of Toronto, but really was the visionary behind this fund, who looked around and noticed that so much giving was going on, that there was a new opportunity for Indigenous community members, for allies, for everyone in the community to think about what it would be like to decolonize philanthropy, to think about what it would be like to give differently, to think about what it would be like to participate in reconciliation through gifts. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Ken Richard to the podium. Miigwech.
So 3 days ago, I was lying prone in North York General Hospital, tubes coming out of everywhere, little breather there, not conscious. But something sparked a few days ago. And that was a recognition that there's, despite all my woes, so many of our children have so many barriers that it wasn't a one-time thing like being in the hospital for me, and I'm fine. As you can see, I'm standing here. And Jeff's reference to Tesla was a slight dig to me because I love my Model Y. But I will tell you that that has nothing to do with anything. What we're talking about with this award today is a pure recognition of talent, but it's more than that. It's a recognition of spirit. As I said, Indigenous kids generally, and I'll let our own award winners tell you their own stories in their own way, but generally face so many barriers, so many obstacles. And to achieve something in life, despite those barriers, is really to win a competition. But it's not a competition against others. It's really a competition about yourself and to break those barriers to become all you can be. And this award recognizes another thing, because it's no good without this part, and that is contributing to the community. Whether that community is your family, your neighborhood, your First Nation, it doesn't matter. Just understanding that we're not just here for ourselves. Each and every one of these award recipients has elements of that. Elements to the point where they tick the boxes in such a big way that they have arrived here today. They're sitting over here. You're going to see some videos on them. They'll tell that story, but I just want to acknowledge them. They are here. This is what it's all about. And that's what we call the Indigenous spirit. And our whole fund, particularly this award, is centered around that. And I'm just grateful to be able to get out of that bed and come down here and just give you that message. I'm so delighted to be here for this second annual award ceremony. So miigwech, and I'll be back, I think, later in the program.
Thank you, Ken. I'd like to welcome up Ken one more time, along with May Miracle, the chair of the board. Let's give it up, guys, Ken and May.
All right. So, look, I can't even read the teleprompter, so I don't need to. May Miracle has been, I know she's a member of the Six Nations. She is, in her own way, has her own personage, and she will certainly introduce herself. But I will say May has been the board president at Native Child and Family Services for many years. She has been very active, actually, in the Indigenous community, and epitomizes, like if you were younger, May, you'd get the award too, because it epitomizes a certain reality. So without ado, just introduce May to make her comments as board president.
Thank you, Ken. I am very happy to be here today to acknowledge our award recipients in the Indigenous Spirit Fund Awards. We had a hard selection as a committee to make in selecting the 5 successful nominees, and because it wasn't easy, but we managed to get through the nominations and pick our 5 successful candidates. The first award goes to Willow Branco. Willow is an active participant of the Two-Spirited People of the First Nations Youth Talking Circles and was instrumental in fostering connections for the youth outside of the circle. Before the pandemic, Willow worked as a personal support worker, working with older adults, made them appreciate the importance of elders and their stories. As a recently disabled person, Willow saw the urgent needs of their peers during the pandemic and began offering their support in the community. Growing up outside of the Indigenous culture, Willow did not feel a connection to her roots and struggled with their sense of identity, leading to chronic depression and anxiety. Willow reconnected with their Indigenous roots in their late teens, early 20s. They say, "Sitting in circle, listening to lessons of Elder Blue was truly medicine for me. It helped me look forward and find the spirit of my ancestors inside of me." Let's meet Willow with this video.
Tanse, my name is Willow. I am a 25-year-old Two-Spirited person from Toronto, Ontario. I am Cree. of Turtle Clan, and my spirit name is the one who brings the red willow medicine. Growing up, I didn't really have any access to my native heritage and didn't really know much about it until my sister went to the first Indigenous summer camp in Toronto. And from there, that's when we really started to really connect to those roots. To me, it means finding that fire that my ancestors had that lives in every Indigenous person. And I think one of the first things that really ignited the spirit in me was when my sister came back from the first ever camp that she went to, and she said to me, my elder said, even if you're 1%, you have to be proud of that. You have to claim that. You have to find that knowledge that has been lost and keep it going for those future generations, the 7 past, the current, and the future. Every journey is going to be different. Nobody is going to have the same experiences as the next person. And that's what makes your journey so brilliant and so beautiful. A friend of mine recently came up with, I am a creation story within a greater creation story. And that just really spoke to me, because no matter what obstacle that you face, you have that power, that fire within you to overcome even in those darkest moments. Most journeys are not easy, but that's where you build character. That's where you really find yourself. There are going to be hills and valleys. I had hills and valleys, and there were peaks and there were lows, but I wouldn't trade it. Those lows strengthened me and made me see how beautiful the peaks were. When I found those people who accepted me, who validated me, who loved me and brought me into their family. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. And it's the current generation and what they're going to do with advocacy and the prophecy of the 8th fire. When my elder told me about that prophecy, it sparked something in me that this is the generation that is going to change how the world views Indigenous people. We are the catalyst for the next generation to move forward and do so many amazing things. And I think we really need to savor the moment before everything starts to happen, because I feel once we have that forward momentum, there's no going back. We are really pushing the envelope on what it means to be Indigenous youth. And we are going to be those elders that teach the future generation. And so we really need to foster our elders that we currently have so that we can be that future for our next generation. What I suggest is finding those people who are going to validate you, who understand your experiences, who love you unconditionally, and they are there. They might be a little hard to find, but Creator and Spirit bring so much to us when we need it most. In our darkest hour, Creator sees us and hears us and starts that forward momentum to start to change your life. And that's what you really need to focus on. The dark times can be dark, but without the darkness, you can't see stars. And we are stars. We are so brilliant and bright, and we burn. And we also have an end. We have an end, but the movement doesn't, because we pass on that burning to the next generation. I love you guys so much.
Congratulations again, Willow. Thank you for that video. I'd like to now announce the second award winner, and his name is Talon Robinson Cardinal, and is a 15-year-old who loves baseball and his dog. And who doesn't love their dog? For years, Talon faced constant bullying, yet this led him to be empathetic to the others facing the same struggle. Following the youth suicides in the Attawapiskat community, Talon demonstrated his support to his First Nations peers in Attawapiskat by painting on sleeves of his sweatshirt, "We heart or love you." For 2 weeks, he drummed with others at Indigenous and Northern Affairs offices to raise awareness on youth suicide. Talon was invited to speak at rallies in Aurora and Sudbury, Ontario. Talon was also invited on CBC Metro Morning News to shed additional light on the plight of teenagers in their northern community. In the fall of 2021, Talon was recruited to play in Upper League AA rep baseball for the Royal York Cardinals. He is scheduled to begin the baseball season this coming spring. Here is Talon's video.
Hi, my name is Talon Cardinal. I'm 15 years old. I'm a student in grade 10 at Weston Collegiate Institute. And some of the things I like doing is playing video games, and I currently play baseball for AA for the Royal York Cardinals.
So when I say the phrase Indigenous spirit, what does that mean to you?
It means that to live a good life, to be kind, thoughtful, respectful to other people. When I was younger, I did the Attawapiskat stuff, and then I did rallies at INAC, and I was always trying to help the Native community stuff, just being kind to others.
If you had a message for youth or children who are thinking of self-harm, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that probably to get counseling, talk to people you like, talk to close family members that you trust, and things will get better eventually. Something that excites me about the future is graduating high school soon and hopefully making it somewhere in baseball and playing college baseball somewhere in America.
What are some of the things that the communities, specifically up north, need?
They need more counselors, the people who talk up there, probably better community stuff up there, just cleaner stuff up there, better housing.
Do you plan to stay involved in those anti-bullying initiatives?
Yeah, I probably will stay in it to help other people get through it.
And what's something that you've learned or that has surprised you in the work that you've done?
That I've helped a few people from stopping hurting themselves and trying to end their life by just talking to them.
What do you think those people need to hear?
Probably they just need to hear that people love them, people care for them, and that people are always there for them if they just reach out.
And when you heard that you had won this award, what did you feel?
I felt good that stuff was gonna, good stuff would happen, that I can get stuff for school and get stuff for my dog also. She always eats her bed, so I can get her a new bed.
What's your dog's name?
Lola. I would like to thank Mac for nominating me for this award and Native Child for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this award and win it.
Wow. Let's hear it so far. Come on, let's hear it so far. Wow. The Indigenous Spirit Fund is grateful for the generosity of its corporate sponsors who are making this event possible. They are the Native Child and Family Services of Toronto, the Kiwanis Club of Casa Loma, Paragon Security, Cooking with Andrea, Pathwell, KPMG, Seneca School of Public Safety, and Dickinson Wright, Chimigwetch. Come on, let's hear it. Gotta give a special shout out and acknowledgement to the Elementary Teachers Federation of Toronto, Ontario Toronto Occasional Teachers Local Union for the incredible donation of $10,000. We cannot thank you enough. Shmigwech. Wow. Wow. Now it's time for the Shkabewis Award. Okay. This award, and the recipient of this award, will receive a beautiful handmade star blanket. The star blanket is a very important image in many Indigenous cultures, and this particular blanket was made by master quilt maker Alice Olson Williams. Alice is renowned for her unique quilted textile works that blend expressions of Anishinaabe belief and ideology with reflections on contemporary social issues. Alice is also an elder within the community. And tonight, we are fortunate to hear from Alice herself, all the way from Curve Lake. Let's go to Alice. Alice, everybody!
Bonjour, menachem Indigenous nikas, na meksibing and donji, aja dash, nanime de nashibibun daya oma skigimangajin gadeg. I am Alice Williams, and I come from Trout Lake. It's just a little northeast of Red Lake, and it's a gold mining town. I've been in Curve Lake now for 53 years. I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. One is in Pickering and one is in Red Lake. I'm very honored to have been asked to make this star blanket. The star blanket is very important to Anishinaabe, to the different nations. I think the Sioux made it very popular. They are often used as giveaways for marriages, for sports, winning in basketball and baseball, and they are important to our culture. For us as Anishinaabe people, we know that a young woman who was very devoted to the Anishinaabe ways, she used to spend a lot of time in meditation, and she thought about the life-giving forces of the world, the earth, the nations. And one time when she was sitting in privately in the bush, a spirit being came to her. The spirit being came to her in the form of a star. And the spirit being asked her to give messages to the men of her community and tell them to not be so warlike. And the spirit being taught her how to make a star blanket, and also taught her how to make the drum, the big drum that we have in our ceremonies. Those drums and songs are meant for peace, to make peace and have peace. And when the star being finished the instructions, the young maiden saw and watched the star being recede back into the star world. And she made the first star blanket in the colors that she saw in that spirit being. I have the medicine wheel in all my blankets that I make. And for me, the The medicine wheel, or the 4 directions, is very important. The 4 directions are sacred to many, many Indigenous people, if not all over the world. I have my red at the top because red represents new life and it represents morning. Then as the sun goes around the earth, there's yellow, which represents the south, the black, which represents the west, and the white, which represents the north. Around the 4 directions, I have a green circle, which represents the earth, the great mother that looks after us, Miigwech.
So in the language, Shkabewis means firekeeper, but it also means helper to the community, one who looks after things, who makes sure everybody's all right. And it's a perfect metaphor for this award. The award recipient this year is Valerie McMurtry from the CAS Foundation of Canada. These big philanthropy organizations, and I'm sorry, Valerie, you're compared to us, you're very large, don't have to do that much. They can give a token grant here, they can do a small thing there, they can bring in elders and open their meetings and hire Indigenous caterers, and that's all great. We love any kind of grant, a Native child, believe me, so I don't want to dissuade anybody. But if you want to make a difference, you're going to change behaviors. And that is the spirit, I think, of this award, is changing philanthropy, assisting us in walking this road to bring it in a proper place within our Indigenous context. So it's not just about, pardon me for the bluntness, this beggar bowl kind of charity that is permeated, that we've inherited from colonial times. It's about actually creating partnerships. It's coming as equals to the table. And while, as I said, big charity doesn't have to do it, a few have done so. Last year, we honored Sharon Avery from the Toronto Community Foundation. This year, it's a CAS Foundation of Canada under the direction of Valerie. Now, they're doing many things. They're on the road to reconciliation. And, those of us who have been in the trenches on this for some time know that it's really not just about acknowledgement, land acknowledgement. It's about behaving differently. And CAS Foundation of Canada has been behaving quite differently. A couple of things, and they've done many things, and I'll allow Valerie a little bit of space here. The Stand Up for Kids Award. 4 recipients, 2 have been Indigenous women. And there have been other Indigenous nominees associated with that award as well. And that comes, I think, from very progressive thinking on the part of the CS Foundation. A big significance to us, made a big difference, is the awarding to us on a 3-year basis. We're going to renew it, I hope. 10% of the proceeds from a large gala called the Teddy Bear Gala. And I know that they are in the process now of hiring Indigenous staff to do Indigenous engagement. There's an Indigenous representation on the board. In short, they have started walking that road. And that's what I want to recognize. On a more personal note, those who know me know I can be a bit intense. And Valerie has certainly experienced that intensity. And I must say she received it and processed it. And at the end of the day, I think we've become very good friends. So I also want to acknowledge that, Valerie. You're more than appreciated. And in fact, you're loved by our organization. So please come up and get that award. I'll give you a bump. And
Thank you. Honestly, what a beautiful gift. Oh my goodness. Ken, you make me laugh. What can I say? I do have a couple of things I'd really like to say. And thank you for all the kind words you've said about our work in the foundation. We know we have a long way to go, but we are really committed to being on this path. I want to say a special thank you to Alice Williams for this beautiful honor. of receiving her star blanket. I'll cherish it for sure for the rest of my life, and I will commit to finding a prominent space in my world to proudly share it with whoever comes across it and explain to them what it means. To me, the quilt reflects everything that's very dear to me. It's about warmth, it's about comfort, beauty, love of family and home, and I'm just really honored to receive it. I'm not sure there are really words to express how surprised and how touched and how honored I am to receive the Shkabewis Award. It's also, I'm going to say, humbling to be here, invited into this circle, into your beautiful longhouse, and to be reminded of the sacred ancestral lands on which we're meeting, lands that we settlers mistreated and misappropriated for hundreds of years, and leaving a devastating legacy of racism and colonialism. It's with gratitude and respect that I would like to acknowledge the enduring strength, wisdom, and the generosity of Indigenous peoples, the leadership here in this room, as protectors of the community and the well-being of children and families from which we settlers have very much more to learn. I've worked in this charitable sector for almost 30 years. Early in my life, I was really motivated. I didn't want to put in the hard work of being one of these frontline service providers. I knew I couldn't do that. But I had this idea that I could take my interest and my inclination for business to do something good for the benefit of children and youth who were dealt a bad hand in life. I have to say, though, I never really challenged myself to think more deeply about the root causes of why children end up in these circumstances. Of course, that right there is a colonial construct, well supported by, as you pointed out, Ken, the tradition of philanthropy, the savior complex. I have to say, in these past 8 years leading Children's Aid Foundation of Canada, I've really had to reckon with understanding that good intentions are really not good enough, and that the type of fundraising and charitable work that I was doing was often not much more than putting a Band-Aid on gaping wounds. Like so many across Canada over the past number of years, I've now been on a personal journey of unlearning and relearning the history of Indigenous peoples in this land. Along this journey, I've come to recognize and understand the intergenerational impacts and legacies of trauma, of colonialization, and of cultural genocide, particularly as these impacts and legacies relate to the experiences of Indigenous children involved in the child welfare system. Ken, Jeffrey, you have been my very best teachers, and I'm grateful for your gracious, patient, and persistent efforts to educate me and my team, and to hold Children's Aid Foundation of Canada accountable to Indigenous children and their families. Thanks to you, our foundation is on a much stronger footing and on a better path. So, of course, I think it's a little bit ironic that today you invite me to receive this beautiful award and a gift, and yet we and my foundation have been the recipients of so many gifts of learning from you. And so I really want to say that you've helped us understand the colonial legacy of the child welfare system, to rethink our purpose as a foundation, and to focus on work through our philanthropic lens. Guided in part by Indigenous teachings, our foundation believes that children should be raised by their families in their own community, and definitely not by the government. While we have a long way to go, our commitment to addressing the systemic issues that have led to what I like to say these days as the overrepresentation of colonialism in Indigenous child well-being, it's firmly embedded in our strategic plan and guiding our vision for our future as an organization. Our work today in the foundation is focused on reconciliation as it relates to the legacy of stolen children and the child welfare system. We're focused on listening to and supporting Indigenous leadership like yours, particularly as it relates to prevention and to ensuring that young people and families have equitable, culturally appropriate supports. It also means educating our funding partners to inspire deeper investments in this work, including through the Indigenous Spirit Fund and in the form of direct grants to Indigenous child and youth serving organizations across the country. We're excited to build on to build on our base, to build on this early work we've done together, creating impact for Indigenous children and families in the months and years to come. I know that by working together, we can create a world in which justice has been fully realized for all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children, and past, present, and future. And their future is bright. I'm learning a lot about that today. I love seeing these awards. It's awesome. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Jeffrey, Randy. Welcome to the team here, and the entire team for this wonderful and humbling honor, which I will share with my team when I get back to the office. We can't wait to see where we go next with this partnership. Thank you.
Wow, that is beautiful. Let's congratulate Valerie one more time, everybody, right there. Thank you for your continued support within our community here in Toronto. Now, singer, songwriter, Rosary Spence is a musician and entrepreneur with a powerhouse of a voice, soulful Indigenous styles, and innovative spirit. Born and raised in my territory, Mushkego, the western shores of James Bay, Mushkego Cree territory. Spence strongly believes in the ability to heal our communities through the strength of the youth and wisdom of our elders. Music has been a lifetime journey for Spence, singing since early childhood and playing an array of instruments since her early teens. Spence possesses an intensive background and experience as a designer, a performing artist, and an arts facilitator. Rosary works right here in the Native Child and Family Services of Toronto as a cultural resource worker. Here to sing an honor song is the incredible Rosary Spence.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to share in this space with all of these wonderful and beautiful and talented spirits and people. And I'm definitely honored as well to be asked to come and share a couple of songs in honor of the this event, this award ceremony. And I'll share a little bit more about my own journey later on, but for now, the song I'm going to share, the first one is called Nagochum Nakamun, and it translates from Cree to my grandmother's song. And when I composed this song in 2009, it was in honor of my own grandmother. So when I sing this, I want you all to think about your grandmothers and your ancestors and all of the matriarchs in your family, including your mother and your aunties. Okay? So this is Nakochum Nakamuan. That was Nakoko Nikamoan. I have one more to share with you, and this is called Iskewak. And this is also an honor song for women. In the Cree language, Iskwe comes from the word fire. That first part, I-S-K, isk, is Iskoteo. And then the second part, Oteo, is heart. So women are really the fire and the heart of all of our nations. So this is Iskewak. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, ah. Way, oh, hey, ah, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey.
Come on, let's hear it one more time. That's Rosary, Spence, everybody. That was beautiful. All right. Gonna get May to come back up here. Let's get to know the other two award winners. May Miracle, everybody.
Thank you. I am actually so pleased to be here today, not only to hear the Big Drum live. I haven't listened to the Big Drum live in a long time, since the pandemic, I don't think. To hear Rosary sing for us today, it's just been amazing. And to actually be in the same room with Valerie for a change, and it's been a while since I've been in the room with Valerie. So, and with our award recipients. Our third award recipient is Annalisa, and Annalisa DeQuain. She is 26 years old and is the daughter of a residential school, day school, and 60 scoop survivor. Annalisa is the first generation in her family who did not attend residential school. From an early age, Annalisa had an interest and gift for music. An accomplished musician, Annalisa is a jazz vocalist and traditional singer and plays the piano, guitar, and flute. And she plans to become a composer and piano teacher. I just want to say, I used to play the flute when I was in high school, Annalisa, and I couldn't begin to even attempt to play it today. So my hat goes off to you in that respect. Now I've lost my spot in my reading notes here. Annalisa has experienced housing instability throughout her life and is currently residing in an Indigenous shelter with her mother. Despite this, Annalisa completed her high school and is currently a student in the Aboriginal Youth Employment Skills Building Program. Annalisa is involved in many cultural programs and community initiatives. Let's hear her video and see her video now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Annalisa DeQuain. I'm 26. I'm from my First Nation, Saskatchewan, and I am a musician and student. I am a child of a residential school survivor and a 60 scoop survivor. So that also is comes with a lot of big challenges at home, in my home environment. But one big challenge that I've had to get over recently is letting go of a dream I grew out of. That you grow out of your dreams as a young person and grow into something more that I guess more relates to your purpose or your circumstances or environment that you're a product of. I'm a product of. Yeah, just poverty and homelessness and being an Indigenous woman in this society. Yeah, that's basically it. It's hard, but I really find a lot of inspiration in my own life that I romanticize it every day. No one else can live my life except for me. Music has been a very consistent outlet for me. Lyric wise, I get to put my story into music that I think I'd vibe to or people like me would vibe to. When I start university in University of Toronto, I will be starting the bridging program out of Wordsworth College, and then I really want to get into linguistics, primarily because I've already kind of studied it on my own. I have a very deep passion for learning languages, especially Indigenous languages. I've spent my really young life since I was 8, literally learning Indigenous languages. Cree, Lakota, Ojibwe, Kiowa, which is from the south. But I feel like languages is the biggest stepping stone in decolonization and just bringing back your roots as an Indigenous person, because a lot of our history and a lot of our ways of life and the way we do things is hidden in our languages. And I just want to bring that back to the people. One thing I learned about myself is that I can adapt no matter what comes at me. I always have a solution. No matter how hard it is or how much it hurts, there's always a way out. Indigenous spirit to me means that I have this resilience in me that really is I feel genetic almost. Our people have been through so much in the past that I feel like we just expect it, but we've made it into something that we pride ourselves on now. It's a part of us, that resilience, that strength, that tradition, and the adaptability that we are born with too. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to survive this long in this world that we come to know as the modern colonized world. What I would say to other people who have come through the obstacles that I have is to just be present, love what you got, be grateful with what you have, and just enjoy the little things, because the big things, they're always going to obviously be there. Nothing is going to be better instantly. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's what you make. It's what you make out of your own life. You're your own artist. Just to live just to keep living life and not to miss anything, and just to be present is really exciting to me, because I think I have a problem with overthinking. And I'm too into the future, and when I could collect myself and bring myself back, living in the moment is my greatest happiness. Something that inspires me is music. I think I have a playlist for just about any mood. any occasion, even like my future plans, my dreams. I have a playlist for all of that. I feel like music is really like my driving force, even when I'm not like writing. I'm always listening to something in my like AirPods or something. Like music is my biggest inspiration. When I found out I won this award, I didn't even expect it. I didn't even know I got like nominated. I didn't even know this award existed because I was just like, I feel like I'm still in survival mode from this past year. So like, yeah, I'm very happy. Like I just thought I was just gonna, okay, here's another year, you know, like I survived, I did good. I'm happy. But when I won this award, I thought like, oh wow, people actually like, I don't know, notice.
Our fourth award recipient is Brina Wilson. Sorry about that, Brina. A 19-year-old young woman who lives and goes to school in Toronto. Brina lives independently and will be graduating from Seneca College this spring with a diploma in early childhood education. Brina's goal is to work at one of Native Child's ECEs and then return to school next winter to study early childhood studies at Ryerson University with the intention of applying to their concurrent Bachelor of Education program to become an elementary school teacher. Brina has had extensive child welfare involvement throughout her life and is currently connected to Native Child through the Continued Care and Support for Youth program. Brina has also been connected to Native Child's holistic healing team, cultural team, youth department, and was employed as a day camp counselor last summer. Here's Brina's video.
Hi, my name is Brianna Wiseman. I'm 19 years old. I go to Seneca College and I'm studying early childhood education.
So why did you pick early childhood education?
It's kind of funny because it was a last minute resort. However, I really enjoy working with children. I think they're really fun and exciting and they bring a lot of positive energy into my life and keep up with my encouragement to help others and continue to help myself. My favorite thing about the day camp was experiencing child's different personalities, interacting and engaging with them to get a better understanding of how they enjoy play, interactment, or build bonds or relationships with them. My particular experience is when I was having a one-on-one conversation with one of the older children, and we were talking about something that was personal but was really impacting to me because this child was opening up to me and I was also opening up to her and making her feel comfortable. And in result, after we were able to have a more secure and safe bond and she was able to come to me with stuff that she wanted to talk about or she was feeling upset, so that made her day camp experience a lot better. What I find challenging about working with children is that they're not always like interested in wanting to interact with you. Sometimes they're more interested in wanting to interact on their own or with whatever they're engaging in, and you kind of can be a burden sometimes. So I find it difficult to get a child's attention and keep the child's attention to benefit them and myself so I have a better learning experience and I can help them have a better learning experience. I'm hoping my overall dream is to be a teacher in the grade 5, 6 kind of class. I hope to continue to be raising awareness for children. Also, if I have children of my own, providing them the support they need. Also families, like my own family or families of friends, and families in general. Or I continue to post on my social media platform. Even though I don't have like the biggest following, I still like to post any awareness I can or anything I see that I feel that needs to be reposted to bring that awareness to what I want to talk about. I think really hard stories in my life is the fact that I've dealt with a lot of abuse. What I like is that I came out a lot more confident. It made me stronger, and even though that like they were hardships, I was still able to overcome them, be a better person. I'm happy now. I'm confident. I'm able to express myself to like my full potential, and I don't have to have those hardships laying on my back anymore. And I'm able to talk about them freely and feel open and a lot more comfortable. So it's made me a better person in the long run, and I'm happy that they are no longer on my shoulders. I would say to someone that faced the same challenges that I would go to would reach out for help. Talk to anyone you can, your family, doctors, therapists, anyone that you feel is a person of support for you, and discover how you're able to create a boundary in your situation, asking yourself important questions about why you need to create this boundary and why you're doing this for yourself, and really putting yourself first before allowing other people's opinions to kind of overcome your head and make you stay in a situation that is not good for you, not healthy for you. The phrase Indigenous spirit means to me like being in touch with your spirituality, like smudging, being in touch with nature, animals, involving yourself in your community, being caring and kind, really impacting like your inner self, your inner spirituality, and portraying that to people, portraying that to others. I feel like that's really important to me. Animals, I love animals. Animals make me super happy. My family makes me happy. Going to school makes me happy. It's a different environment for me. I get to learn things. I love learning things. It's different. It's new. I get to fill my brain with all this different energies. Being around my friends, they make me happy. Interacting with people makes me happy. I like to draw. I sometimes read. That makes me happy. Overall, like involving myself and making others happy makes me happy. So if I see someone else smile, that puts a smile on my face, and at the end of the day, that helps me and benefits me. When I heard I won, I was kind of like nervous. I didn't know how to react. It was kind of sudden. I didn't really. It felt good. I don't know, because I never really had the experience to be like nominated for something. So the fact that I actually got that and I actually won, so it's different, it's fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Let's hear it for our young people so far, everybody. Come on. You know, my inner elder wants to tell me that these young people, but you know, these young people, they don't remind me of when I was young, because these young people are just so incredible. They're so resilient, even more incredible, even more resilient than we ever were, weren't we? Come on, let's go. Let's hear it for the young people. Wow. Truly inspiring. Now, we'd like to share a few more of these stories now and highlight the importance of positive youth programming. Let's head back inside the Longhouse to hear from Rosary and Amy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amy Sargent, and I am the Community Events Coordinator here at Native Child and Family Services. I've been with the agency now for 2 years. I started in 2019. A bit about myself is I am Secwepemc and English. I was born and raised here in Toronto. My dad's family and my reserve is out in British Columbia by Dog Creek. One of the reasons Native Child and Family Services was so important to me is because I was a youth being raised by my English mother without any access through my family to our culture and our community. One of the things that provided me being an Indigenous community member here in Toronto was access to knowledge keepers and to cultural ceremonies that I had never been experienced before. I really did enjoy being a part of the community. I first met Native Child and Family Services when I was just 17 years old, which, not to age myself, was definitely over 20 years ago now. And they provided me knowledge that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for them. My mom did her best raising me as a single mom here in the city. But unfortunately, with all of my Indigenous family out in British Columbia, I didn't get to gain any of that knowledge or experience from my family. With Native Child, back when it was under hoops on Yonge Street, I got to experience my first traditional ceremonies. I got to see the big drum for the first time. We did fun and exciting programming like going whitewater canoeing up down Ottawa River. We also experienced my first sweat lodge and things like that. The reason it was so important to me is because I think it provides access to all urban Indigenous community members who, like myself, may not have access to our reserves or cultural experiences that they have there. So I find with an agency like this, it's really beneficial because a lot of us come from families like myself where my dad and my aunts and uncles all went to residential schools. So even if I had had access to them, they may not have been able to teach me anything because unfortunately, residential schools kind of took our culture away from our community. So I'm very proud to be a part of providing those experiences now for the youth here in the city. Being the the community cultural events coordinator, I get to plan fun things like the powwow, which hopefully this year will be in person again. And now I'm on the opposite side where I get to be the person who's providing these experiences for the youth. So it's definitely meant a lot. Recently, we did a wonderful program where we did beaded red dresses for the murdered and missing Indigenous women. And I found that really, really enlightening and just exciting to see people being taught how to bead and being provided that access to their culture firsthand, just because I didn't learn those things from my family. With my beading journey, I didn't start until I think 2019, right before the pandemic. And I'm self-taught like a lot of Indigenous community members. We may not have family members to teach us, and we may not necessarily have access to resources like that. So being able to provide that access to the community has been really, really great. I'd like to welcome the lovely Rosary Spence now to say a few words.
My name is Rosary Spence, and I'm Cree from Fort Albany First Nation. It's a small remote community on the west coast of James Bay. And I live here in beautiful Toronto where I raised my family. And I just wanted to share a little bit with you about my experiences growing up. I wasn't raised in an environment where I always had mom and dad and family around. I did spend quite a bit of time in the foster care system from about the age of 5 until I was 15, and in and out of care. So as a child in care, with my own experiences, I really depended on those that could provide me with, access to my culture. And a lot of the time it was hard to find. And this is going back, again, not aging myself, but this is going back to how the care system worked in the late 80s, early 90s. And so unfortunately there wasn't a lot, but I can share one really wonderful experience where I was a young woman coming of age. And I fortunately had a caseworker who felt that I needed to be connected to my community somehow and to honor that coming of age of the time in my life. And she connected me with an elder on the Woosauksing, which is just outside of Perrystown on the island there. And the elder talked to me about what it meant to come of age as a woman now, and the ceremonies that go with it, including the berry fast. So I was put on my berry fast when I was 12 years old under the guidance of this elder in Woosauksing. That was the first time I had ever gone fasting. It was the first time I had been in the sweat lodge. And I would say ever since then, my spirit really craved that and really wanted to be deeply rooted in ceremony. And that's something that I continued on my path. So I think that shows just from my own personal experiences, the importance of being connected to culture for kids in care, and what that does for the spirit. For me, as a young 12-year-old girl who is, on her own, for me that made me feel like I was going home, and made me feel most at peace and safe. And so I carried on that path throughout my life, and I always had that experience, that first experience with me in my heart along my journey. So here at Native Child, I am a cultural resource worker. I work within the cultural department. And part of my role now, it's like full circle, where now I'm going into the homes of kids in care, and I'm helping them, and I'm showing ceremony and language and culture to now with kids in care. So I feel really good in my heart that this genuinely is a part of my journey and where I'm supposed to be right now in my life. And I feel really good about the work. And I really do hope to make meaningful impacts and relationships with these kids in care in a good way. And also with, I wanted to share a little bit about the value and I guess the meaningfulness of what goes in behind songs. So a little earlier I shared some music with y'all. And I would say I started singing from a very, very young age. I remember singing in choir when I was little, and my very first experience singing in choir, my grandmother said to me, she was saying, "You sound so beautiful when you sing, keep singing." So that's what I did. I just kept singing more and more and more, and from that experience, I kind of learned to develop my own voice, and that stuck with me throughout my life. But there's such a great healing that comes from when you experience your soul speaking. And when I'm singing, I feel like my soul is speaking, and I feel like I go to another place, and I feel like spiritually I'm having an experience. And also, I always encourage other people to sing as well, because I firmly believe everybody can sing. Whether you feel like you can sing in key or not, we're all born with a voice. And there's one beautiful sound that we make that's our first song when we enter this earth. And that's where our vocables come from. And that's that sound of creation. And it's that very sound that when you make it, everybody in the room stops. And everybody in the room starts crying. And everybody is so filled with love. And that's when you enter this earth from your mother and you go, "Wah!" That's your very first singing voice. So we all are born with that gift. We then use that voice to communicate with our mothers, to let them know we need nourishment, we need comfort, we need warmth. There's something wrong with us. Can you help us? So we use that voice in a way to bring awareness of what's happening to us. So singing in a way is also asking our Mother Earth and our grandmothers to provide us with healing, with nourishment and guidance. So I encourage everybody to sing, and everybody to sing from your hearts and your spirits. And no matter which way you feel like you sound, you all sound beautiful. So, Ishimiigwech.
Our final award recipient for the night is Randy Morasti. Randy is an 18-year-old proud member of Barren Lands First Nation and is deeply connected to his culture. Randy is a grass dancer and can be seen dancing at community powwows and events. Randy completed high school last year, winning a scholarship and completed a masonry pre-apprenticeship program. Randy is currently working as a junior mason. Randy went into foster care at the age of 6, where he remained for 10 years. In 2021, Randy was adopted by his younger brother's adoptive parents. Despite suffering some recent personal losses, Randy excelled in school and received the Shkabewis Award for community leadership at his school. Randy teaches skateboarding to kids in his neighborhood and has participated in various community initiatives, including an Indigenous Earthwork program. Randy is currently on the Youth in Trades Advisory Committee at Miswebik. Let's watch Randy's video now.
Hi there, I'm Randy Morasti. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Toronto. I am Cree and Dene. My reserve is Barren Lands Nation. Currently, I'm an apprentice at York Marble for masonry. I am most proud of accomplishing high school. It was really hard for me, and also accomplishing my masonry course for year 1. I always been fascinated with bricks and blocks and just construction in general ever since I was young. And I heard that my family was into construction too, and so I thought that it would be great for me. Some ways I'm involved in my community is by dancing at powwows as head dancers, encouraging other youth about Indigenous culture, and skateboarding, teaching others to skateboarding. Oh, I just love the feel of the dancing, the freeness of it. It's just amazing to be dancing at a powwow and just to honor the elders, because when you're dancing, you dance for the elders and the people who cannot dance. It's been really hard in my life. I have a bunch of my family's passed away in the past few years. It's really hard. So while I was in foster care, one of my workers, they recommended me doing grass dancing because I always went to powwows when I was younger, and I never danced at them. I was always watching. And so eventually, J. Lomax, he got a person from Manitoba to make me a regalia, and he took me to certain powwows to dance. So my first one was at Six Nations, and then I went on and danced at different schools and different communities. This the people watching, for the people who can't dance, I just love dancing for them because I was told, when I was younger, you dance for the people who are older and who can't dance to bring them that joy that they can't bring for themselves. It feels honoring to dance for them. Essentially, when I was in grade 8, kind of found out about my family's history. I found out they were in construction. My father was a bricklayer. And that really fascinated me. And already before, I was already like to create mini houses on my own. And so when I went into grade 9, I chose construction courses, and I just packed up for design blueprints as much as I can. And when I went into grade 10, I took this course called co-op. But it was actually grade 11, really thinking about it. But so I went to this cabinetry place, and we built cabinets, and they had the CNC machines and all of that. And we drive around Toronto from Brampton to pick up materials, old furniture. But since the COVID, that got canceled, and I was never able to go back there again. So back in grade 12, when I moved to Toronto, I took co-op again near the end of the year. And so I was going to be sent to this bricklaying place where they actually did masonry. But again, that got canceled. So one of my guidance counselors offered me to go to this one masonry center. A masonry center as I've already been to before. And I was like, sure, I wanted to go to that place anyways. And so I went into there. It was a 3-month course, and I passed it. And then they sent me to my workplace I am right now. This award means a lot to me. It shows me that I accomplished through a bunch of hard stuff in my life. To me, Indigenous spirit means the spirits of trees, people, and us respecting Mother Earth. Spirits are everywhere, and they belong to us, and we belong to them. The best thing I can say to you is stay strong, and things will eventually get better. Just focus on the positive stuff, and just keep on trying.
Everybody, please, let's give all of our youth recipients an amazing round of applause. My goodness. I was really honored to be in Treaty 6 territory a few years ago in Enoch, Cree Nation. And we had an opportunity with young people to attend a ceremony with multiple venues at this cultural site. And there was a teepee, there was lodges all over the place with ceremony, sweat, with dancing, with singing, with storytelling and language and culture. It was all so beautiful. After talking to one of the elders in the community, the elder looked at these young people and told them this. He said, when I was a child, standing where you stand right now, these ceremonies were not here. Our ceremonies were in the bush. Our ceremonies were in hiding. And our elders and our ancestors prayed so hard and conducted ceremonies so hard. And what did they pray for? They prayed for you. Our ancestors prayed for them, that in their lifetime they wouldn't have to be hiding, to do something cultural, to have ceremony, to have dance, to practice language, to sing songs. So with respect to our elders and ancestors, they are doing what they should be doing. And it's not just for themselves, but it's for others. And that is awesome. Once again, I congratulate our young people. Ceremony went too fast. I wish it could be 8 more hours, because this feels really good. The pandemic's been rough. We're looking for things to build our spirit back up. And the best way to do that is to acknowledge people. But hey, we are at time. It's time to wrap this up. I want to call upon the iconic Ken Richard once again to give closing remarks. Ken, take it away. Let's welcome Ken, everybody.
So, from my heart, I want to just say that we love you. And we want to acknowledge not just our children every day, through these awards, but every day. We want to nurture them. We want to give them opportunities to be all they can be. And our fund is all about that. And while I was told not to pitch too hard, I'm not going to pitch too hard. As I've said, never stop pitching. But I will tell you that we are a charity. We are a fund. We're in the business of new relationships, but we're also in the business of raising money. So find it in your heart to think about Indigenous children, supporting them, supporting our work. This is the beginning of a long road, and we certainly want to collaborate with each and every Canadian around bringing it to where we want to be, which is a good, just, equitable Canada, and a scenario where Indigenous children are not always showing up with all these toxic statistics. We want to change that. We need your help. Miigwech for signing on today. This is Cedar. This is Indigenous Pop. So we got lots going on. We'll see you next year. Miigwech. Thank you.
Miigwech, Ken. We opened up right. We got to close up right. Let's head back into the Longhouse for Constance Simmons. Constance.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say a word of thanks to Native Child and Family Services, who care for our people, whose workers are dedicated to service. I want to say thank you to Ken and Jeffrey and May for hosting this event, and to say congratulations to our awards recipients. And thank you to Victoria for your presence, representing all the stakeholders that are interested and involved in the care of our children. Now I want to say to you that, that water was spilled. That sacred fire was burnt. That tobacco, which is our prayer, laid down the intention for us coming together. And now we are near the end of our ceremony. I want to leave you with a teaching to say to all of our children that you carry the medicine that was given to you when you were formed in spirit, that you are in charge of learning what that medicine is for each one of you, and to developing that medicine to the best of your abilities. And that we as adults applaud you and uphold you and love you. I want to say to you, it's good to start each day with a heart of gratitude. And it's good to know that you carry medicine, and that medicine is based on what was given to you to carry, and that you do stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who preserved our languages, who preserved our culture, our cultural knowledge, even in the dark times when it was outlawed, and that is all there and available for you. And people are standing by to assist you, to teach you, to guide you, but mostly to love on you. Now, as we go our separate ways, may you walk forward in beauty and grace. And I would like to leave you with this song. Ane wachi elo te o maki ai o. Wane wachi elo te o maki ai o. Wane wachi elo te o maki ai o. Wane wachi elo hi no he ne o we. Whicho day, whicho day, whicho day, whicho day, whicho day, chakuke wane wachie lo he ne we. O she manayo, o she manayo, o she manayo. O she manayo, wane wachielo. O she manayo, ya ayo, Bama P and Chimigwich.
Chimigwech Constance for that beautiful, beautiful prayer. Now I'd like to call upon once again the Bezigu Singers. Take it away.
Hey! Greetings, everybody. My name is Randy Arsenault, and I'm the manager of the Indigenous Spirit Fund, the new manager of the Indigenous Spirit Fund, which is sponsored by Native Child and Family Services of Toronto. I want to thank you for joining us in this celebration. I just want to let you know, if you want to find out any more information to get how you want to get involved, either individually or as a corporation, please visit indigenousspiritfund.org. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day.